Hey YouTube, it's GV Loan Guy. It's April 6th, and I'm doing this video from inside the bunker for what I believe you'll see to be obvious reasons here very shortly. I haven't put out a video that I would categorize in the quote-unquote conspiracy theory for a while, but I thought today I really had no choice after a brief discussion I had earlier today brought this to my mind. We were talking about the value of houses and how that basically we've been robbed by the banksters of equity from our homes. I think, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a sizable amount of equity that's been removed from each and every one of our homes. If you're a homeowner, every one of you has suffered a loss in your equity. If you happen to be one of those people that had mostly no equity, and you had mostly just a giant debt, then the bank is the one that lost the equity when the value of the properties went down. But let's not forget that was it 2008, after the so-called bubble housing market subprime loan catastrophe economic crash took place, with the first phase of the bailout going on. I think what was that, 700 million, I'm not sure anymore. Those numbers are just so big. What's the difference anymore? So the subject came up of the banks really didn't suffer any loss because they were in fact given bailout money to cover the losses that they had obtained through the defaults on the subprime mortgage loans. So the banksters literally got the money given to them by the federal government guarantee. We have the Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae loan guarantee programs behind everything, so that you and I, as taxpayers, and our children and our grandchildren are fortunate enough to be able to participate in the bailout that helped the banksters in the late 2007, 2008, 2009, right in there. These guys got double dip going on. They not only got the money that they lost through the bad loans that they made in the first place, but they also got the houses through foreclosure. Or if they didn't get your house, they got equity out of your house. Because if you try to sell your house today for what you bought it for 5 years ago, you're just not going to get it. It's not there. The equity's been robbed. So keep in mind that I'm one of the ones from the very beginning that said if they wanted to spend $700 million, they could give every homeowner family in the country, I don't know, $150,000 or whatever it breaks down to. Those people would pay their mortgages off, which would money go directly through the homeowner straight into the hands of the bankers. It doesn't even have to go through the hands of the homeowner. It can go straight through to the bank, but just forgive the loan, forgive the mortgage. Then what? Now you got people that are earning money, that have jobs, and their house is paid for. They don't have a mortgage. So what are they going to do? They're either going to go out and buy another house, a second home, and fix it up, or buy a rental property and fix it up, or they're going to go out and spend some money on other things like a boat or some luxury item or a car or, something. So all the things that they spend money on, going out to dinner, going and buying fancy stuff and new cars and this and that and the other thing, all that money would have went to stimulate the economy. If they wanted to stimulate the economy, all they had to do was ask GV Loan Guy. I would have told them exactly what to do back 5, 6, 7 years ago. But they're not interested in helping you and I. They're robbing you and I. They're not interested in helping you and I. Let's get clear about something. They're not making loans. They're collecting money through bailouts, and they're taking that money and loaning it to each other at 0% interest rate with no intention on ever paying it back. They're going to let your children and your grandchildren pay it back. Yeah, that's what the banksters are doing. And they're going to take your house or the equity in your house. They're going to take your retirement money. I think they've already gotten most of that. Basically, folks, what's happening is we're being robbed. And now they're coming out with, like over in Cyprus. In Cyprus, they're doing what's called giving the public a haircut. Haircut. Don't you love that? I got a haircut recently. It looked pretty good. Somebody even commented how good my haircut looked. But that's a different kind of haircut. I don't want the kind of haircut they got over in Cyprus. In Cyprus, if you had, like, let's say it was $100,000, that's 100,000 euros or 100,000 drachmas or 100,000 something. Whatever it is that they have over there, if you had over 100,000 of it in the account, they gave you a little haircut. Well, actually, at first it started off with like a little shave. They gave you a shave. They just shaved off 20%. Yeah, they just shaved off 20% and said it's going to cost you 20% to cover our bad debts because we borrowed too much money, which we didn't loan back to you folks in Cyprus, but rather we loaned it among ourselves. Bankster to bankster loans at 0% interest. That's what we did with the money. But anyway, so we got this debt, but we're not going to pay it back. We have no intention of paying it back. You're going to pay it back. And not your children or your grandchildren. We already did that. No. We're giving you a haircut. That's what they called it. We're giving you a haircut. So we're going to get, they started off, it was 20%, right? Next thing you know, a week or so later, I'm reading the news report, it says 40%. They took 40%. And another week or so after that, 60%. Do you realize what that means? If you had $100,000 in your savings account there, or more, they would shave off, they would give you a total, they'd shave your head, is what they do. They'd take 60%, $60,000. They're going to leave you with $40,000 of your own money. Isn't that nice of them? But they're taking that because they have to take that because they made a whole bunch of bad loans. They borrowed a lot of money and they can't pay them back. Oh, well, they could pay them back with austerity if you want. That retirement check that you're getting for $1,700, the one that's just barely covering it. We're gonna cut that down to $1,200. That's austerity. Oh yeah, that retirement program that we promised you for life after you left the the post office. Now we're gonna have to cut that short, and you're gonna have to pay your portion of it. Stuff like that. That's austerity, folks. When you hear austerity, when you hear haircut, those are fancy terms that they're talking about over in Europe. But listen, they're coming here to the United States real soon. They're already talking about Greece, and they're already talking about New Zealand. They're already talking about Canada, and they're already talking about a haircut for the folks in Great Britain. We'll wonder, who do you think will be next after that? The United States of America. Don't kid yourselves. We're not exempt over here. The only reason that we're enjoying the prosperity that we're still enjoying today is because of petrodollars. You know what petrodollars are? Petrodollars is where if you're over in India and you want to buy some oil from somebody in Saudi Arabia through OPEC, you have to convert your Indian currency over to US dollar currency, petrodollars. Everybody has to convert their currency into dollars in order to buy oil. So that keeps the value of the dollar going up. See, the value of the dollar artificially high because uh, everybody's forced to use the dollar to buy oil. So it's artificially held up because of that. Now, in case you haven't paid attention, I put some videos out well over a year ago about the BRICS nations. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These are no small nations here, folks. And you know what these BRICS nations are talking about doing? They're talking about getting off the U.S. petrodollar for buying oil. They don't want to buy oil and have to use the dollar. You know why? Because Bernanke's been printing dollars on the dollar printing press, for years now. And they just recently signed a deal where they're going to be, instead of QE1, where they had to renew it, and then they had QE2 and blah, 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 and then pretty soon you had QE3. No, none of that. Now you got QE for indefinitely. QE forever, okay? They just authorized printing money forever. Now they're going to keep printing money, and every time they print money, do you think there's more value added when they print more dollars? No, there's no value added to a piece of paper with some cotton fibers in it and some soy-based ink on it, some fancy artwork. There's no more added value by printing millions of dollars a day, Bernanke. But the Chinese, the Russians, the Indians, even the Brazilians, because they got George Soros teaching them, and South Africa, these people know that we're printing dollars and making their dollars worth less. They're just like us. Our dollars are worth less, but we're too stupid and we're too busy watching Dancing with the Stars to understand that when you go down to the store now and you buy a half a gallon of milk in the waxy kind of carton, it doesn't have a half a gallon of milk in it anymore. It's got like 108 ounces instead of 128. It's stuff like that. That means the cost of milk has gone up. The cost of bread, the cost of gas, the cost of everything's gone up because they're printing dollars. The only thing that's going down is the value of your property and possibly your retirement and health benefits. But everything else is going up through the roof. So, I don't know. Is this a conspiracy theory? No, I don't think so. This is designed collapse of our economy. There's a guy behind this by the name of George Soros. He was behind the collapse of the Soviet Union because they financially imploded. He was the reason that he was the reason that the United States and the US dollar is the currency that's the present world currency, because it used to be the pound sterling, and Great Britain was in the center of the action. Well, then all of a sudden George Soros got involved in Great Britain and the collapse of the pound sterling. This guy is no small potatoes, okay? He buys oil companies, he buys countries. The dude went to Brazil last year. I put up a video about this, and he bought the controlling interest in a company called Petrobras. It's an oil company, oil drilling, state-owned. And George Soros bought the controlling interest in this company. How does a guy do that, okay, unless he's some big shot? This is a big shot. And this guy's behind Obama. He's the daddy warbucks, I like to call him, behind Obama. He's the reason Obama's in there. and all of his organizations, moveon.org. There's a dozen of them. There's probably 20 organizations or more. They're all George Soros funded organizations with one thing in mind: to destroy America and to destroy the American economy and bring us down and take our guns, of course. They don't have any way of doing this because if Americans are left to their own ingenuity, we're survivors. We're going to pull out. We're going to make things work. We're going to pull together and make things work. But a guy like George Soros, he can undermine the whole thing by working from the inside, working from behind the scenes, working from within the shadow government. And believe me, don't think there's no shadow government. There is a shadow government, big time. And they're controlling your life. And they're controlling my life. And they're controlling our lives. All right? I'm not going to go into who they are here and now, but I think most of you know who they are. And a lot of them are in our government. Okay? Our government has willfully handed over our sovereignty and our nation to the Federal Reserve Bank, to the banksters, to the corporations like Monsanto. They just recently wrote their own law, and it was signed by Obama. They called it the Monsanto Protection Act because it exempts them from lawsuits from any of their stuff that they've been doing. Sorry, I'm getting off the track. The bottom line is, I don't think we're done yet. I think that I heard somewhere that the banksters are still they're firing up those subprime loans again, and they're doing bad loans again. They're going to plan on bringing our housing market to its knees once again and robbing us yet again of more equity and more of our homes. It's a land grab, and while they're doing it, they're going to take money from the government, which our children and grandchildren will pay for. And then when the banks start having a problem and they're going to have a run on their money and they're running out of money, then they're going to give us a haircut and take 20, 40, 60% of all of the equity that we have in cash in our bank accounts. Okay? So I'm not sure exactly what to recommend for you to do. I don't know what's a safe place anymore for your money. Obviously, it's not safe in the house, in your home. It's not safe in the retirement account. Obviously, it's not safe in the bank. Is it safe in gold? I don't know. I'm not sure where it's safe. Is it safe in the Bitcoin everybody's talking about? I don't know. I don't have the recommendation. All I know is that if you're not preparing for some sort of bad event to take place, then you're just acting like an ostrich and putting your head in the sand. Because the truth is that the leaders of our country have sold out. They've completely sold out. Congress has sold out to the bankers and to the corporations, which means that the banksters and the corporations are running this corporation we call the United States of America Incorporated. They're running it, folks, and they're in the process of robbing us, and they're going to continue robbing us as long as we allow it. Okay? They're going to continue robbing us and becoming more blatant and more outrageously ridiculous in their open thievery, where now the banks are robbing us. It's not us robbing the banks are robbing us. I mean, it's like, whoa. They did say that, everything that was good was going to be called evil, and everything evil was going to be called good, and everything was going to be flipped over upside down and backwards. And actually, I think that's what's taking place right now. So I just wanted to bring you a little bit of this conspiracy theory stuff. I'm fully expecting that at some point in the future, I don't know when, maybe it'll be this year, maybe it'll be 2013. 2013 is as good a year as any to collapse the economy. It's the 100-year anniversary of the Federal Reserve central banking system that sold us out in the first place. It's also 2013. If you add 20 and 13 together, what do you get? You get 33. 33, oh, that's interesting. All right. Anyway, I'm going to leave it right there. So, thanks for watching. Be sure and subscribe if you want further updates. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Take care.